Hello, everyone. Welcome to this insightful episode where we dive into the journey of Kelani Cable PLC, one of Sri Lanka's most trusted and pioneering electrical cable manufacturers. We walk you through their rich history, strategic growth, innovative culture, and financial performance. More importantly, I will share concrete examples showing how Kelani adapts and thrives in a competitive and evolving industry. Let's get started. Kelani Cable PLC was founded in 1969 and has remained proudly 100% Sri Lankan owned ever since. Their product portfolio is broad, encompassing power cables, telecom cables, enameled winding wires, and lighting products, serving diverse sectors such as power generation, telecommunication, construction, and manufacturing. A key hallmark of Kalani is its commitment to quality, underscored by certifications including ISO 9001:2015 for quality improvement, ISO 14001:2015 for environmental standards, and SLS UL certification, and also membership in the Responsible Care Program. These credentials are not just badges but reflect rigorous quality control and sustainability practices embedded in their operations. Their market reach is both local and international, while Kalani proudly serves the entire Sri Lankan market. It also exports to key neighboring countries like India, Maldives, Bangladesh, and as far as Europe, demonstrating their global competitiveness. Their headquarters is based in Kalania, a place symbolically tied to their brand identity. It's crucial to focusing on their vision, mission, and strategic direction. Kalani's vision is ambitious yet clear to become the nation's leading electrical solutions provider. This goes beyond just cables, it speaks to providing comprehensive, cutting edge electrical infrastructure solutions that drive national development. Their mission focuses on delivering optimum value by continuously innovating product development, adopting advanced technology, and enhancing productivity. Equally important is fostering an open and innovative culture that empowers employees to embrace change and champion new ideas. For example, Kalani continuously invests in R&D to develop specialized cables suited for emerging sectors like renewable energy and smart grids that ensures they stay ahead of evolving industry requirements. When considering their strategic direction, it is crucial that revolves around four critical pillars. They're focusing on to strengthen their market leadership. They maintain dominance in the domestic market by consistently delivering quality and reliability. For example, their long-standing relationship with major clients like the Ceylon Electrical Board and Sri Lankan Telecom that attest to their trusted supplier status. And they also focusing on to diversifying their product offering beyond traditional power and telecom cables. Kelanic has diversified into specialty cables for renewable energy and electric vehicles, a fast growing market segment in Sri Lanka and globally. And also they are focusing on expanding locally and internationally their business because they focus on the export growth. That's their key focus. And Kalani actively explores new geographic markets. Their recent moves include distribution partnerships in the Middle East and Africa to tap into infrastructure development booms there. Finally, their strategic direction is to enhance brand visibility. They are focusing on to strengthen their brands to sustain their marketplace among their competitors. So Kalani invests heavily in brand building through below the line advertising and community programs like Kelani Saviya, which supports educational scholarships and local development. This dual approach strengthens both market presence and corporate social responsibility. And when focusing on their SWOT analysis, we need to focus on their strengths, opportunities, weaknesses, and threats. So, when focusing on their strengths that include robust and resilient leadership that has guided the company through multiple economic cycles, a diversified product portfolio to hedge risk, a strong brand recognized for quality, and multiple international certifications. When focusing on their opportunities that abound in the current economic environment, So Sri Lanka's renewed focus on infrastructure and energy projects that combine with the global shift to renewable energy and electrical vehicles that provide fertile ground for product and market expansion. So Kelani is already supplying cables tailored to solar power plants and EV charging infrastructure. When we're focusing on their weaknesses that include the rising cost of raw materials like copper and aluminium, that also affected by the recent US president change, which can squeeze margins. Their dependency on the construction sector exposes them to cyclical risk, and their limited digital sales presence is a gap they are working to bridge by exploring e-commerce platforms. And finally, it is really crucial to focus on their threats and make them as opportunities. So their threats stem from volatile exchange rates, which impact exported raw materials and foreign currency revenues, and political uncertainties ahead of elections, fierce competition from local and international cable manufacturers, and risk of regulatory changes and supply chain disruption, especially in a post pandemic world. So, understanding these four strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, Kelani Cables can to sustain in the competitive market in more successful way. When we're focusing on their competitive strategy, they have adopted some key competitive strategies actively to manage their threats and their weaknesses with some competitive strategies. So, first, they are focusing on their cost leadership by embedding Kaizen and 5S continuous improvement methodologies. They have streamlined operations, focus on reducing waste, and improved manufacturing efficiency. For example, their recent process optimization in their wire drawing plan improved output by 15% while reducing defects. And their strategic pricing is a key because Kalani employs dynamic pricing strategies to maintain margins despite raw materials cost fluctuations. They balance competitive pricing with value added services like technical support. And finally, their brand building. They are focusing on to strengthen their brand. Besides corporate social responsible initiatives, Kelani sponsors key trade exhibitions such as the annual Electric Expo Sri Lanka, which allows them to showcase innovations and engage directly with clients and industry stakeholders. So, by focusing on these three key competitive strategies cost leadership, strategic pricing, brand building, they can adapt their market in more sustainable way. So when focusing on their strategic actions, mode, timing, and scope of operation, the recent strategic initiatives highlight Kalani's agility. In Q3 2023, Kelani shifted to a cash sales model that helps to strengthen their liquidity and reduce credit risk, which was critical amid uncertain economic conditions. And when focusing on their export growth is a key target with a 17% increase planned over the next few years. So Kelani has distribution their partnerships in India and the Maldives enabling faster market success, and they're focusing on to launching a trading arm that allows them to offer electrical accessories beyond cables, expand their brand reach, and generate new leads. And also their participations in trade shows like Electric Expo and international events help to diversify their revenue and offering clients a one-stop solution. Finally, the exploration of new markets in Africa and Middle East demonstrate ambition to scale beyond traditional regional markets. And when we focusing on their corporate strategy execution, it is really important. However, we are having a good plan. There is a big deal to execute the strategy in more successful way. So execution is a cornerstone of their success. So they are focusing on the execution in terms of to have a weekly cost control review process that enables to prompt decisions to optimize spending. And also, their investments in manufacturing infrastructure, including the recent purchase of advanced wire drawing machines, have increased capacity by 15%. That helps meet growing demand from both domestic and export clients. Finally, the execution is to focus on building long term reserve to fund innovation projects, including future ready products such as IoT-enabled smart cables that monitor real time performance in industrial applications that helps to position Kelani as a technology leader. With that, Kalani focusing on strategy supportive of their people, capabilities, and structure because they believe their success is not relying on their strategic planning and execution, and also they need to focus on their people and the organizational culture. So, Kalani's success is powered by its people. They are focusing on the FIFAs and Kaizen philosophy is deeply ingrained in daily operations, fostering a culture of continuous improvement. And also, their training program like Kelani Saviya provides scholarships and skill development opportunities to help and attract and retain their young talent. And also, they mainly focusing on many employees who started as trainees have grown into management roles, highlighting the company's commitment to internal growth. Finally, the leadership team maintains an open door policy, encouraging innovation and employee engagement, which sustains high morale and productivity. Through their consideration of their people, culture, and their structure that impact their company's success in more positive way because the Kalani Cables culture yields tangible benefits. When global copper prices spiked recently, the team innovated supply chain alternatives and optimized production schedules, avoiding cost overruns and delays. And their leadership's emphasis on respect, integrity, and family values that creates a cohesive workforce dedicated to excellence. Finally, the company's governance practices ensures transparency and accountability and strengthening investor and stakeholder confidence. With that, it is really important to understand their financial and organizational performance because, as investors, if we plan to invest shares in Kelani Cables PLC, it is crucial to know the current situation, whether it's positive or negative. When focusing on their financial results, here we have added their revenue growth and profit before tax. So revenue increased by nearly 60% from rupees 8.76 billion in 2020 to rupees 13.99 billion in 2024, reflecting strong demand and market expansion. And also their profit before tax peaked at rupees 3.53 billion in 2023 but declined to rupees 2.43 billion in 2024, influenced by increased input costs and global economic volatility. It shows their profitability is consistently strengthened over the periods. Whereas when we focusing on the organizational performance, need to focus on the key financial indicators, earning per share and return on investment and operating cash flow. So the earning per share movement that adjusted from rupees 127.84 to rupees 79.08 due to margin pressures but remains competitive. And the return on investment is solid at 24.3% in 2024, reflecting efficient asset utilization. And finally, their operating cash flow improved to rupees 2.5 billion, ensuring the company's capacity to meet ongoing operational and strategic investments. So these financial indicators reflect Kalania's resilience and prudent management in a challenging environment. So, as a summary, we can ensure as investors we can still invest in this Kelani Cables PLC because their strategy and the execution and their movement over the periods. In addition, their financial and organizational performance shows a positive movement from 2020 to 2024 in numerical way. So, Kelani Cables PLC embodies a blend of heritage, innovation, strategic foresight. Their examples embedding continuous improvement, diversifying products and markets, and investing in people that is really crucial. They are focusing on to empower their people and culture that makes them a standout in Sri Lanka's industrial sector. So, thank you all for joining the deep dive into Kalani cables. Stay tuned for more stories of Sri Lankan business excellence.